This one's going to be a quick one, I think. I don't know if I have a lot to say on this, but um, this one is don't make someone or something else the scapegoat. You are responsible for your actions, and acknowledging that is how you progress towards fixing them. Pretty much, if you want, if something happens to you, right, you can blame other people, and you can say, oh, you know, I didn't get good sleep because they kept me up all night, or I didn't get good sleep because someone was making all this noise, and if they weren't making all this noise, I would have slept better, and then I would have been feel better today. You know, um, don't push all of your problems onto other people. Don't blame everyone for your issues. In the scenario that I just gave, someone making noise, there's not necessarily anything that you're at fault there for, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to blame everyone else for your actions. You didn't get good sleep last night, so you don't feel so good. Um, maybe there is some things you could have done better there. Maybe you could have found a way to quiet the noise a little bit, or you could have maybe you went to bed kind of late, and then it just so happened that they started making a lot of noise, so it ended up you not getting good sleep. Or maybe it's it's just really, it's you can sit there and blame them, but really it's not anyone's fault that you didn't get any sleep. The reality is that you didn't get sleep, and there's no one you need to blame for it. You just say, okay, I didn't get good sleep. I'm gonna keep moving on. There's no point of holding on to, oh, if I would have just gotten better sleep last night, everything would have been better. You're better off just saying, I didn't get good sleep. I'll get good sleep tonight, though. That's all you could say. Um, and if this issue that you're having keeps coming up, and you're like, still can't get any sleep because they're so loud. And there's nothing you can do to quiet the noise. Then you say something. You gotta, I guess take action and be like, hey, you're loud. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of put myself I gave myself one of the hardest examples, I think, because it's not really something that that is easily seen as your fault. I was trying to go for things where it's more your fault, maybe people don't always treat me so well, or I feel like uh, no one I don't know. I feel like nobody wants to listen to me, and it sounds like you're blaming everyone else for your problems, but maybe the fact that no, you feel uh like no one really wants to talk to you, or you feel like you're kind of out from the crowd, is not necessarily their fault but your own. Maybe it's your actions that put people off. What is it about you that is pushing people away? Maybe you need to look in and be like, okay, well, if no one wants to hang out with me or talk to me, maybe there's something I'm doing that they don't like. Maybe there's something about me I need to change. And you can say, oh, I don't need to change who I am. I'm who I am is perfect. But you know um, everyone else begs to differ, it would seem. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm really just ranting here, and I don't have um, the best backing on this. Pretty much what I was trying to say, I'm trying to make these examples, and I think I'm making it harder on myself, harder than it needs to be. The reality is maybe it's not applicable to every example, but don't pass the blame on to someone else when the blame can, like, maybe yours, you know. I'm not saying that everything is always your fault, but not everything is always someone else's fault either. That's pretty much that wraps it up. That's pretty much everything right there. Um, Not everything is someone else's fault, but not everything is yours. Um, so if it's not your fault, and it's then, don't necessarily blame anyone else, and just kind of accept it, and you know do what you can with it. And if it's someone else's fault, you know, but like it's really more your fault because you could have done something to prevent that from occurring, then, not necessarily beat yourself up, but just be like, okay, I could have done this differently. I could have done this better. That's how you're going to learn, and how you improve, and how you become better at just anything in general, better at making your way through life, better at learning, better at doing some kind of skill or activity. You gotta kind of accept your flaws and then figure out how you can work on them. But I think I'm gonna end it there. So, peace.